Screen Sport presents International Rugby League, the touring Kiwi side playing Hull. Some familiar names in this Hull side. The fullback is Gary Kemble. The wings, Paul Eastwood and Dane O'Hara. The centres, Gary Schofield and James Luluai. Steve Evans at standoff. Andy Gascoigne, the halfback. A front row, Jeff Gerard, Sean Patrick and Neil Puckering. John Muggleton and Lee Crooks at the second row. And Gary DeVorty on the back. The replacements today are Steve Hick and Carl Arnott. Kiwis on the paddock now, just awaiting a warm-up to do their haka. Howie Tamati out in front, ready to lead it. His knee quite heavily bandaged today. A mixture of youth and experience in this Kiwi side, and a lot of points to be proved. Some very interesting positional duels we'll go through in a moment. Here's the haka. From the Kiwi side, Sam Stewart in there. The captain today is Hugh McGann, looking through the team. The Kiwis, Darryl Williams at fullback. The wings are Mark Bourneville and Marty Creaker, having just been flown over here. Marty Creaker arrived on Thursday night. Dean Bell and Mark Elia, the centres. Olsen Philippina at standoff. Clayton Friend, the halfback. The front row is Owen Wright, Howie Tamati and James Goulding. Hugh McGann and Sam Stewart in the second row, and Ron O'Regan, number 13. The replacements are Shane Cooper and Adrian Shelford. The match underway. Luluai. Clayton Friend with a big hand across the top and being penalised for it straight away. Referee for today's match, Mr. Kershaw. Touch judges, Mr. Cooper and Mr. Turgoose. Kick for the line. First penalty going Hull's way. Kiwis lined up. Very fired up for this match. They see it as a fourth test in many ways. Tackling is going to be hard and furious. Gerard, one of 18 players on the paddock who have test experience. 10 in the Kiwi side and 8 in the Hull side. Just while we've got a moment, looking at the players who have test experience for Hull, there are the Kiwis, Dane O'Hara, James Luluai and Gary Kemble. Fred Arcoy is injured today. There are the Australians, John Muggleton and Jeff Gerard, and of course the Englishmen, Gary Schofield, Lee Crooks and Gary DeVorty. Tremendous amount of experience out there. There's Dean Bell, one of the new brigade, shall we say. The obvious replacements to many of the 30-year-olds in this Hull side who have been the backbone of the New Zealand Test team for the last several years. Lee Crooks, the man, you remember, who kicked the crucial points in the third test to draw the series, to put first points on the board for Hull. Not a bad kick, but it's away to the left and flagged away. Very cool man under pressure. I know the Kiwis' tactics today are going to be to kick long and low, knowing that Gary Kemble is so safe. He really is safety personified under a high ball, so they're not going to play into his hands there. They're going to try and kick through along the ground and make him run and chase it. I think the defence is going to be the key to it, David Watkins.
I think so. New Zealand have shown on this tour already that their defence is par excellence, and they've already shown in the early tackles today that Hull aren't going to get all of them right from the start.
Scrum to go down, right on the Kiwis' 22. Referee Mr. Kershaw making sure that the front rows go down straight. Hull ball. Steve Evans playing standoff today, filling in for the injured Fred Arcoy.
And that's always been a problem in actual fact, and it's spoilt a little bit of New Zealand's play by the sheer fact that they do hold on to the man on the floor. It is a habit that we've seen with Australians in the past, and New Zealand have done a number of it on a number of times, and it always causes penalty kicks to be given against them. And I find it rather strange that they should persist with it when the English referee is now looking for it. But it now gives Crooks obviously a second opportunity to kick a goal.
Lee Crooks runs in for the kick. That one's a bit straighter. Yes! 2-0. Five minutes gone in the match, and Hull leading by 2-0. Olsen Philippine at a restart for the Kiwis. Kemble coming right through and taking that high ball beautifully, as ever. A little bit slippery just on top there. Jeff Gerard, the man who has played Test football for Australia, now playing at Hull here, along with his fellow countryman John Muggleton, who's also played Test football for Australia. So between the Australians and the New Zealanders, they form a fair part of this Hull side. Current leaders, along with Warrington, Kevin Tomaty's side of the league in England. Kick right through, Marty Craker, trapping it with his foot and diving on it. Just arrived on Thursday night as a replacement for Joe Rolparty, Marty Craker, an original selection in the team, but was injured when the team left. Again. Howie Tomaty waiting. O'Regan, Friend, just wobbling it a little bit late for Friend, managing to hold on to it as he took the tackle of Lee Crooks. Right, Stewart. Mark Wheeler running up alongside him. Stewart lost the ball in the tackle but reclaimed it. Now Hull possession. Gerard. They're going to flick it wide. Muggleton. Still getting the pass back to Crooks. Gerard.
Well, that was another indecision then by the Hull team, letting the ball go in that particular tackle. He was complaining more about the tackle of the New Zealander on him than he was about the ball. As a result, Kershaw has now given the scrum in New Zealand's favour.
Scrum penalty going New Zealand's way. Darryl Williams for the line. Chance to regain some ground now. Takes them up into Hull's half by 10 metres. Two balls on the pitch at the moment. Howie Tamati opts to take the original. Goulding. Right. Sam Stewart can't take the pass, knocked on. Goes back Hull's way. Gary Kemble has it. Touch judge has his flag up for an infringement in the tackle. Mr. Turgoose with the yellow flag. Mr. Cooper with the red flag on this side of the pack. Paul Eastwood for the line. Five metres inside Hull's territory. Brought down by Mark Bourneville. There's an injured Hull player back on the paddock. The play continues. Lee Crooks tackled by Ron O'Regan and Clayton Friend. Willoway puts it back. Muggleton. This has all the makings of a very tough encounter for the Kiwis. Little double round with Gerard and Andy Gascoigne. Gascoigne's away in space. Puts it back to Evans. Evans being chased. Good tackle from James Goulding. 10 metres out now, Hull. Devorty flicks it wide. Crooks. Picked up and dropped. 5 tackles on Hull now. Muggleton with the bomb. Darryl Williams coming round for it, and O'Hara was there.
Well, that was some good classic football then by Hull with a superb break by Andy Gascoigne, which slipped the ball back inside to Steve Evans. But it's Hull are really now starting to show the football they can. The opening encounters so far have been hard and bruising, and both sides have been asking for no quarter and most certainly giving none.
Again, the scrum penalty, this time going New Zealand's way. And it'll be Darryl Williams for the line. Good safe kick from Darryl Williams. Mark Bourneville anxious to restart. Leaves it to Howie Tamati. Clayton Friend is arguing over where the ball went up. Hugh McGann in space. Hugh McGann looking for support. Caught by Kiwi teammate Gary Kemble, but we come back to where a little bit of a fracas had broken out. And the line umpire is on the paddock again. A little bit of friction between the forwards. Clayton Friend has been sent off, along with Lee Crooks. I didn't quite see the signal whether it was 5 or 10 minutes in the sin bin, but both of them are off.
Well, I think Clayton Friend started the game off by taking no quarter when Kemble came through. He swung an overarm punch at him, but missed completely and was penalised for it. And of course, him and Lee Crooks have been caught doing the same thing again. And Kershaw is having no messing about with his players, and he's being very stern with people, and he's already sent 2, hopefully only to the send bin. But it's better if both sides can now settle down and play the football that they're both capable of. Otherwise, it could turn into a very nasty and bruising affair.
Darryl Williams for the line. Both teams with 12 men on the field. Olsen Filipino will have to come in. Tamati restarts. Goulding. Tamati, right. Trying to get his arms free. O'Regan playing it loose forward instead of in the centres today. Ron O'Regan. Howie Tamati going himself. Up to the 22 line now in Hull territory. O'Regan. Right. Getting the pass away to Filipina. Filipina getting a bit of space for himself. He's in the Gascoigne. Filipina trying to pass it to Sam Stewart. Gascoigne cut it out. Muggleton. Gerard. Patrick puts it up. Neil Puckering, the number 10 for Hull. Patrick caught that time and possession stolen by Sam Stewart. Good opportunist stuff. O'Regan. Ilya. Nowhere to go. Krika. Filipina. Sam Stewart. To Dean Bell. Dean Bell puts the pass up to O'Regan, just a couple of metres short of the line now, the Kiwis. Anxious to play it quickly. McGann. To Sam Stewart. Sam Stewart trying to get his hands free. 5 tackles on the Kiwis now. Filipina trying to tow it through. James Luluwai really foiled that. And Owen Wright now. Owen Wright appears to be injured on the ground. Glenn Gallagher, the physio, coming onto the paddock. Looks like his leg is injured. Seems to be his knee. They need a replacement. They have an excellent one in Adrian Schultz. He's the forward reserve. Shane Cooper, the back reserve. Owen Wright is up and okay. He's going to continue. The handover of possession. Kiwis caught in the 6th tackle, so giving possession straight to the opposition. Hull trying to run themselves out of their 22. Gerard. Gascoigne. That time brought down by James Goulding. Kick through. Krieger coming round for it. Trying to hold on to it. It's in touch. Excellent kick from the second rower, John Muggleton. Hugh McGann acting halfback. Feed the scrum. Penalised. Looked a bit odd that. Referee Kershaw trying to straighten the scrum. And it wasn't properly straight when Hugh McGann put the ball in, but he was penalised for feeding his own side. Hull leading 2-0. Hull can do something from here. Muggleton playing himself. Muggleton. The defence gets round and rallies itself. Gascoigne. Evans. Back into Gerard. Devorty putting the pass up to Schofield. It was well caught by Darryl Williams. Another opportunity now for Hull. Puckering can't hold it, but they've managed to continue play. Pemble sorts of confusion right down on the corner. They'll come back for the scrum. About 8 metres out from the Kiwis line. This Hull side in devastating form. Hugh McGann again acting halfback. Referee not happy with the scrums. Straightening it up this time. There's been a common fault in all the non-test games. McGann feeds, gets the ball back. Filipina. First tackle. Plays it himself. Not being allowed to play it himself. So Daryl Williams with another chance to gain them some yardage. Didn't go out. Scrum to go down, midway, halfway in 22, Kiwi territory. Tamati penalised for striking early. Having a little bit of trouble with the scrums. Eastwood for the line. And Hull once again in an attacking position. Just inside the Kiwis' 22. Barging run from Neil Puckering, brought down by 3 Kiwi defenders, Wright, Goulding and Stewart. Muggleton. Tackle that time from Hugh McGann. Devorty having a drop, away to the right. Gary Devorty, who made his test debut against France for Great Britain and looks to have a big future in the game. Goulding. James Goulding proving as hard as ever to put on the ground. Howie Tamati waiting. O'Regan. Stewart. No way through there. The Wellington policeman. Right. Tamati flicks the pass up. Olsen Filipina picks it up. O'Regan. McGann. Opts for a little bit of safety as they get well into Hull's territory. Penalty to the Kiwis for the tackle on McGann.
Yes, and rightly so as well. He held him before he could get up off the ball to play it then. But O'Regan is playing quite well at loose forward in actual fact, and he's always up with play. He's prompt in as well into this Hull defence. And Filipina then was to make the break and found him on his shoulder, which took the break on. And this is a penalty now to New Zealand with Filipina to take the kick. And New Zealand is settling down somewhat. Their tackling is still good, and I believe that if Hull are to make any inroads at all and any impression on the game, then they must continue to move the ball as often as they possibly can.
Olsen Filipina, who has been such a reliable kicker on this tour. I think they missed him when he was dropped for the 3rd test and Dane Sorensen was taking the kicks. Looked like it was a little bit short and away to the right. Just have a look at the infringement again. Still 2-0 Hull leading. This is where it came from. Olsen Filipina making the break. Put the pass back to O'Regan. O'Regan saw McGann there. Flicked the pass around. McGann coming through on the ground and not allowed to play it. Filipina. O'Regan. Right, McGann. This is far better combination from the Kiwi forwards. McGann just a couple of metres short of the line now, if that. Sam Stewart flicks the pass out. Dean Bell caught. And they've lost possession in the tackle. So Hull with a bit of a let-off. Bringing them back to the position. Eastwood for the line. Fairly conservative kick. It's made them 10 or 12 metres. Gascoigne trying to go himself. Tackled by Goulding and Stewart. Gerard. Nice pass up to Evans. Looking it through. Schofield's there and in space, towing it on. Gary Schofield being chased by Mark Borville. Dives on it. Well, is he going to give them the try? He has. Hull leading the Kiwis. Another example of this amazing player, Gary Schofield. 4 tries in the second test. And able to make real advantage out of almost nothing. Just looking at it again.
And Gerrard taking the ball in, pushes off 2 New Zealanders there, passes it to Steve Evans, who nearly loses it and does the right thing here because he couldn't get his pass out. He chipped it forward, and the ever alert Schofield is onto the ball in a flash, chased by New Zealand. 4, 5, 6 New Zealanders there in the picture with him as well. But Schofield controls the dribble and dives on the ball for a brilliant try. And really, this is a tremendous try which could have a big bearing on this game because they are now starting to run at New Zealand, and the 2 front props of Hull are making inroads to the defence, and the backing up of this Hull side is excellent.
Schofield converting his own try. 8-0. Hull lead the Kiwis. Evans. Hull with their tails up now, having gained some confidence from that excellent try. Buluwai. 5 tackles on Hull now. Schofield. Little chip through, chasing it. Goulding dives on it. Possession to the Kiwis. Rika. O'Regan. Filipina trying to go himself. Every time he has had the ball, Olsen Filipina has taken at least 2 people to tackle him, and he slipped out of the first one on most occasions. Right. Injury to Gary Schofield, but play continues. Goulding. James Goulding. Again to Filipina. Running through was Darryl Williams. Took almost the hospital pass, and they've lost possession as a result. And there's a Hull player injured as well. So 2 Hull players on the ground. Steve Evans is one, Gary Schofield the other. The replacements are Steve Hick and Carl Arnott. Just have a look at that movement again if we can. Howie Tomedy restarting. McGann flicked the pass along. Filipina to Darryl Williams running through and ran straight into Neil Puckering. And then it was Filipina's tackle on Steve Evans that caused the injury. Gary Schofield appears to be taken from the field. They've got a stretcher on at the moment. And while the Hull physio was attending to the already injured Gary Schofield, Glenn Gallagher, the New Zealand physio, administered a little aid to Steve Evans, the second injury. He's okay. The replacement for Fred Arcoy, who is still suffering from muscle strain in his shoulder, an injury he received in the first test. I wonder if that's not a broken leg for Gary Schofield. Really doesn't look very nice at all. They're strapping it up and they're about to put him on a stretcher. They've got the team physios and a doctor on there. That would be a very sad and serious loss, not only for Hull, but for Great Britain.
Most certainly would, because he's had such a tremendous Test series. He's really come back into form after having a good tour down under in Australia. Coming back and, of course, scoring and equaling that record in the second Test by scoring 4 tries. And has already been well into the game here this afternoon by scoring the only try that's been scored so far when he chased that kick ahead of Steve Evans's to win the race for the touchdown. He went into this particular instant chasing a loose ball after his own kick ahead and seemed to fall awkwardly after trying to trap the ball and being caught between 2 New Zealand players. It does look rather serious at the moment as they've strapped both his legs together and the ambulance crew are now escorting him from the field.
Well, as we say, a very serious loss, not only to Hull, but to Great Britain as well. It certainly looks as though it is a broken bone. Shane Cooper has come on the paddock. We just try to see who he's replaced. Check that for you in a moment. Shane Cooper, the replacement. Give you a picture there. Back replacement for the Kiwis. I'm just trying to see who's missing. Mark Ely is there, Marty Krieger is there, Olsen Filipina is there. Hull trying to play, just getting out of their own half now, Muggleton. Morty getting a pass back to Kimball. Kimball well held. Just looking around the field, it's Ron O'Regan who seems to have disappeared. Cooper. It is Ron O'Regan who's missing from the Kiwi side. Shane Cooper having replaced him. Darryl Williams for the line from the halfway line. Makes 12 metres. Liluai can't hold it. It's into touch. Shane Cooper's covering halfback in the absence of Clayton Friend, who's been sent from the field with Lee Crooks. Penalty that time against Howie Tamati again. Howie Tamati perhaps a little anxious to get into the game and to win scrums, having been dropped from the Test team for Wayne Wallace.
Well, that's probably true, and you can try too hard in some matches. There's no doubt Howie is doing just that at the moment in time. But that was a brilliant bring into play then by Darryl Williams, but the referee has penalised it for some reason or other, which I find rather strange as an offside situation from that, which is rather extraordinary because Darryl Williams jumped high to save the ball going in touch, but obviously a player was in front of him when he knocked it back into play, and as a result Kershaw has awarded the penalty, which means that Hull are now camped in the 25-metre yard line.
real chance for Hull once again to cross the Kiwi try line. A game that the Kiwis desperately wanted to win. Muggleton being pushed back, and a little more determination coming from the Kiwi pack in the tackles now. Some complicated little double rounds there, some of them not working at all. Hicks, 14, the replacement for Schofield. Luluai going out wide. Well tackled by his opposite number, Mark Elia. But the linesman is on the paddock for an infringement in that tackle. Hugh McGann, who has now taken over as the tour captain with Mark Graham returning injured to Australia, and questioning the decision, but a penalty has been given. Let's have a look and replay and see if we can see what the infringement was. Yeah, late tackle. Happened before Luluai got the ball.
Yes, it seems that Sean Patrick was the man in possession who got knocked down after the ball had been passed out to James. Which means it's another penalty to Hull.
This time it's Steve Hick taking over the kicking role from Lee Crooks, who of course is off the paddock. That's not a bad kick. Yes, it's there. Filipina trying to gather enough sand in the centre there to restart. Well trapped by Steve Hick. Kiwi tackling staunch. They know they'll need it now. They need tries too. Gerard. Kemble. Darryl Williams takes it on the half volley safely and runs it in. Dean Bell waiting. Baumden. Cooper. McGann. Carmody, Cooper, Goulding. James Goulding trying to get his hands free, but well wrapped up by three Hull tacklers. Again, the kick through. Going back for it is Eastwood. Very, very safely picking it up. Cooper up there to tackle him with Howie Carmody. Luluai. Hull not making anywhere near as much progress now as they were 10 minutes ago. 37 minutes gone, almost half-time. The kick from Muggleton. Mark Bourneville has it. They've certainly afforded him plenty of attention when he's had the ball. Cooper gets the pass away. McGann, Elia trying to come through, but tackled without the ball. Seems the linesmen don't see it when it happens that way round. Gerard. Kimball knocks on. Kiwi possession. Mark Elia has it. Are they going to play advantage? No, they're coming back for the knock-on. Clayton Friend and Lee Crooks still off, which tends to indicate that they were sent off, full stop. In most cases where people have been sent from the field, it has been sin bin, either 5 or 10 minutes, usually 10 minutes. Both of them have been off more than 10 minutes. Already there's a little bit of friction starting in that little scrum. Cooper comes out with the ball. Ilya can't hold it, another knock on. Meanwhile, the punch-up continues. Howie Tumley and James Goulding in there. It seems that Gary Devorty was the object of their attention.
Yes, it's sad really that we should have this situation arising again after the nasty flare-up we had in the test last Saturday. And there's no doubt at all about it. He is already sending again Howie Tamati and Sean Patrick. He sent those off as well. And it looks as if the referee is in no doubts at all as to what is happening. He's sending players from the field. And if this sorry state of affairs continues, we'll end up with very few, if any, players left on the paddock at all.
11 players playing for each side now. Lee Crooks and Clayton Friend sent off initially, and now the two hookers sent off. Looking over their shoulder in the hope of a reprieve, but they're both off. The penalty goes the Kiwis' way. Darryl Williams for the line. Marty Krieger gives it to Shane Cooper to Goulding. Flicked it on to Filipina. Filipina in the tackle. Again. It's the ball back to Filipina. There is a great deal of friction in all the tackles now. Ilya having a go himself. Mark Ilya, he's got the line. Yes!
Absolutely brilliant that was in. All the niggling we're having at the moment, as you're rightly saying so, Tony, in these tackles, people pulling and hanging on to people in the tackle. But Ilya then shrugging off all that has gone before and absolutely opened up this whole defence beyond all question at all and cost them a superb try and a well-deserved try at that.
This is the man who this week has just signed for St Helens, who think so much of him, they're prepared to bring him over here after Christmas for 11 weeks. Looking at it again. Filipina straight to Ilya. Ilya saw that there were some spaces there. Chopping and changing. He has a tremendous sidestep. He has brilliant change of pace and sheer determination getting him to the line. Good try, Mark Ilya. With a point to prove today against James Luluai and Gary Schofield. Olsen Filipina with a kick almost from the corner, mounted right up on a little mound of sand. Getting a hard time from the crowd. That's a good kick. Ten to 6 makes it a little more realistic. Let's see how well both sides can play with 11 aside.
Well, some people have been talking about the number of players in the game. If it was reduced, it would be a faster, fitter game. I wonder how these will cope with the game now for the second half with only 11 on both sides. Perhaps now we'll see a little bit more running and a little less aggravation in the tackles.
It's one way of making it an open game. Bourneville. Hugh McGann. Right. Holding the ball after a little fumble. Owen Wright in space, just tripped. Losing his feet. Almost on the halfway line now. The line umpire on for what went into that tackle.
doesn't make too much of that in actual fact, because I think that was more accidental than anything else. As he came in, he was struggling to get up at the same time as Gerrard came across and really went on top of him. And it was not so much the players' fault who were the ball as it was Gerrard for coming in over the top.
Just looking at it again, Owen Wright running in space, just got his feet clipped and falling over. This was the tackle that ensued. Nothing too much wrong with that. And Jeff Gerrard seems to be getting up and okay. I noticed that time when the line umpire came on that his discussion with the referee was hardly cordial. Perhaps the referee is saying, I can see the infringements where they occur. Goulding, the barging run. Little chip through from Olsen Filipina, being checked on his way. Gascoigne has the ball. And Olsen Filipina has been sent off.
Well, this is getting to staggering, ridiculous proportions. He caught him then with the boot, and one has to question whether it was intentional or otherwise. But the referee seems to have no doubts at all about it, and he's now sent Filipina from the field. I still think that they're making a little too much of this now on the floor, and it's becoming ridiculous as far as the spectacle is concerned. Filipina kicks through here, chases his own kick. He is slightly impeded as well as he goes for the ball. Gascoigne then races him to the ball first, dives on the ball, and Filipina genuinely went for the ball, went again, and I think that was as much an accident as anything else in actual fact. But the referee was there with no doubts, and Gascoigne got up holding his face. And the referee has sent him yet again from the field, and for 5 players to be sent off in a match, one must ask whether this is a record or not. And not a good one at that.
I think one must also ask at the impetuous nature of the referee.
Well, that's right. I think, as you rightly said so, the linesman has been on the paddock far too often now, and I think that both sides should have been called together and told exactly what the referee's attitude was toward it, and perhaps it would have diffused the whole situation. As it is, everybody seems to be going into tackles, out of tackles, and the referee is standing there, sending people liberally from the field.
Well, it really is reaching joke proportions. The Kiwis now playing with 10 men, Hull playing with 11. Kick put out, so play to restart right on the halfway line. Muggleton. Gerrard. Gerrard brought down by James Goulding. Gascoigne. There is the half-time hooter. Hull leading the Kiwis by 10-6. And already 5 people sent off in this game. Some of them justifiable, some of them very questionable. I think there has got to be questions asked when 5 people get sent from the field, and particularly in an example like the last one, where the referee was perhaps not in the best position to see it, and he really, when we see how much the linesmen have run on to talk to the referee, I wonder at, as I say, the impetuous nature of a referee who automatically and immediately ordered Olsen Filipina from the field without even taking any reference at all. The restart for the second half from Steve Evans. Daryl Williams running it up for the Kiwis. McGann. Right. Still 10 Kiwis on the paddock, 11 Hull players. And just doing some sums at half-time, we think it's a record to have 5 people sent off in one match. Neither David Watkins or I can remember it ever having before. Here we are. Kick from Williams. Making Gary Kemble run for it. Hull 10 metres inside their half. Score 10-6 in favour of Hull. One try apiece, the difference in penalties. Gerrard. It's going to be a difficult task now for the Kiwis to come back. Already 2 points down and one man short. Pass look forward. It's been allowed to go. Shane Cooper under the kick. Takes it safely. Kiwis in possession inside their 22. Williams. Cooper waiting. McGann. Goulding. Pass to Mark Bourneville, and Bourneville was in front of it. Lulawai picks it up for Hull. Almost away. Sam Stewart brings him to ground. O'Hara. Muggleton. Devorty. Caught by the 2 6'2.5" men, Hugh McGann and Owen Wright. Lulawai. Kemble. Nice pass. They've got the extra man. The ball knocked down. Advantage being played, so Hull still in possession. No reason at all why Hull shouldn't be able to score tries if they can get that ball moving. Gerrard. Back to Puckering. Good opportunity here for Hull. Muggleton going back inside. Trying to break the defence. So just 8 metres short now, Hull. Devorty. Lulawai. Lulawai caught, puts it back into Gerrard. Evans. Hull to play it again. Kemble with the kick. Straight to Williams. And possession again for the Kiwis. Krieger. Dean Bell. Owen Wright. Already the lights on at the boulevard here. Your picture is deceptive. It's really quite dark, quite gloomy. Goulding. Shane Cooper with the kick. Little chip over the top. In front of Kemble. Cooper gets his hand to it first. Picked up by Sam Stewart, but they'll come back. As you can see, the murk and gloom of Great Britain's encroaching winter. Normally dark between 4 and 4:30 in the afternoons, now that we're not on daylight saving time anymore. Hugh McGann up for the tackle. Wrapping up Hick. Lulawai. It's going to take an extraordinary defensive effort from the Kiwis to keep this Hull side out. They know that they have an overlap with an extra man. If they can keep that ball moving, it will be to their advantage. Knock on.
Yes, I can't understand Hull at all, because they know that New Zealand are one man short anyway and are persistent in coming down the middle and doing crisscrosses and dummy scissors. And when in actual fact it really needs, after Gerrard has made the initial punch, for Steve Evans and Gascoigne to get the ball out on the flanks. But New Zealand are coping exceptionally well, and in fact they are looking far better in attack than Hull are when they have the ball.
Darryl Williams for the line. Take it inside Hull's 22. Well inside. Midway, 22 and goal line. Goulding. Marty Krieger waiting. Cooper. Owen Wright trying to get up to play it. Stewart. McGann. Dean Bell running onto the ball beautifully and still trying to get his hands free to get a pass away. And we'll see who comes up with the ball, but I think it might be Hull possession. Gary Kemble.
He really is an explosive runner, Dean Bell. When he comes on that ball, he really knows where he wants to go, and he was rather unfortunate. He had been held on the line, and Kemble robbing him, but allowing them to have a drop out to New Zealand, which means that they'll retain possession.
Cooper. Good tackle by Muggleton. Sam Stewart waiting. Krieger. Hasn't really had a chance to show his exceptional speed in this game so far. Marty Krieger just arrived on Thursday. Stewart. Cooper. Dummying to Dean Bell. Gives it to Mark Bourneville. Bourneville can't hold it. Knocked on. Playing advantage. Luluai. O'Hara running away from Mark Bourneville. Eventually caught by Owen Wright. Kiwi teammates, of course. Muggleton. Kemble. O'Hara. Really with a point to prove today, Dan O'Hara. At 30 years of age, he's one of the old stalwarts of the Kiwi side. Dan O'Hara, 30 years of age, who has been really a man of iron for the Kiwi side on the left wing. Now approaching the end of his career, perhaps not for Hull, but for the Kiwi side. And as he says, I'm not going to give my position away. You come and get it if you want it. Certainly demonstrated it today. Change of kicker now, Marty Krieger, with Olsen Filipina having been sent off. Man who was originally selected to come on this tour but had a broken jaw and so was replaced by Shane Horrell. Now the tables have turned, and with Joe Rawparty having gone home, Marty Krieger's back in the side. That was never going to make it. The score remains 10-6. One wonders how the Kiwis can get themselves out of this, but certainly their determination is starting to show, and they look more progressive going forward. Stewart. We'll double round with Dean Bell and Shane Cooper. Elia. Right. Dean Bell. Goulding. Trying to change direction and set something up. Owen Wright couldn't hold it, the ball was knocked on.
Yes, that was a penalty then, because as he took the ball, it went forward and he took the ball in front of the man who was actually playing the ball. So it's an offside situation given against New Zealand for Wick now to put the ball into touch and gain a foothold for the first time for some time now back in the New Zealand half.
This Kiwi side, only 10 of them, have done amazingly well to keep Hull really in their own half for a good 10 minutes. Hull rather obviously not taking advantage of their extra player. Perhaps they haven't quite learned the 11-man game yet. Luluwai knocked it on. Dean Bell's away in a little bit of space. But Dane O'Hara wasn't going to let his teammate get away. Cooper. McGann. Wright. Owen Wright obviously playing himself back into some kind of form. Had a little bit of a loss of form on the tour so far, which resulted in his being dropped from the test side, but I'm sure he'll play his way back in before terribly long. Goulding. Bourneville. Mark Bourneville showing determination, trying to get to that line, puts a pass back on the ground, picked up by Gascoigne. Possession to Hull. Luluwai. Still good staunch tackling from the Kiwi side. Good deep kick. Dean Bell has it. To Krieger. Good run from Krieger. Showing a little of the speed that he's famous for. Right. Bell. Oh, nice stepping. Wrong footing James Luluwai completely. McGann. Mark Bourneville again having trouble with his hands and really tackled before he had the ball. Luluwai.
Understand how they're still persistent in coming down the middle, and New Zealand is showing them exactly just what to do by moving the ball out all the time, and New Zealand looking far more positive.
Trying to get out of there, 22, Hull, Gascoigne. Not being allowed any space at all. 5 tackles on Hull now. Expect the kick from Kemble. Little chip through. Cooper going back for it. Has Bourneville with him. Bourneville. Mark Bourneville. Splitting to the fence. Puts the pass back inside. Krieger can't hold it. Well, Dane O'Hara is earning his money in the number 5 jersey for Hull today. A couple of times he's had to mark Bourneville with crashing runs. We have another injury. Glenn Gallagher, the physio, coming on the paddock. 3-man scrum. James Goulding is going. Yes, James Goulding has been replaced by Adrian Shelford. Shelford, number 15. Right down underneath us on the sideline. James Goulding has certainly played an excellent game for the time he's been on the field. Has tackled relentlessly and has looked very, very good going forward. Now the fresh player, Adrian Shelford, anxious to get into the game. Buckering trying to get the ball up. Gerard. Muggleton. Gascoigne, a little double round, didn't work. Come back to the knock-off.
Penalty to New Zealand there for shielding and an obstruction in play then at that time from the play the ball, which means that New Zealand again have an opportunity of finding a place down in the well encamped now they are in the Hull half and are showing some positive signs of playing some good football and running and moving the ball quite well and giving Hull a few problems at the moment, despite the fact that they've only 10 to Hull's 11.
I think they've certainly dished out a lesson in 10-man football. Adrian Shelford. Right. Stewart. Good support. Kiwis supporting the ball carrier very, very well. McGann, Cooper, Bell, Darryl Williams. But he's going to bring him back for it. Well, several of the Kiwi players are not very happy about that.
Well, that looked a perfectly good try to me, and if we watch this from the play of the ball comes out along the line here, right to Dean Bell, and Bell now draws the man, brings the full back in superbly, and goes forward for a try, and it didn't look terribly wrong from where we were, but it's now been indicated it was a forward pass, and the referee has given a penalty to Hull, which much to the annoyance of some of the New Zealand players, but nonetheless, it's a penalty, and Hull with the ball coming out of their own half.
Well, I don't think that Mr. Kershaw has won any friends in this New Zealand camp today. But he's in charge.
Some of his decisions, quite frankly, are making us even nod and with annoyance in the box here, because I don't really know what Kershaw is trying to do. He's most certainly taken the centre stage in this game this afternoon, sending 5 players off, disallowing what looked a perfectly good try and bringing up some other strange decisions. He's now given a penalty again to New Zealand and brought them back 10 yards for obviously somebody saying something.
I noticed Hugh McGann on that occasion, the New Zealand captain, clapping rather obviously, saying finally he's given 1 hour away. Kiwis now. Cooper. Cooper looking to set something up there, but opted to take the tackle. Stewart. Shelford trying to bust his way through. Right, Stewart. Owen Wright and Sam Stewart working well together. Not successfully on that occasion. Quick ball. Cooper to Wright. Ball coming free.
And that must be a try, yes, it's a try. Lost the ball, in fact, in the tackle.
And a try for Hugh McGann. Reward for all the hard work. Well, this should be able to give the Kiwis the lead, and it really will be quite an achievement for them if, with 1 man short, they're able to come back from a 2-point deficit and win this game against Hull. Certainly the 10 men on the paddock have played exceptionally well. It's Owen Wright to attempt the conversion this time. A relatively simple one, regardless of his kicking prowess or the lack of it. And he's put the extra points there, so a 2-point lead has come from a 2-point deficit now for the Kiwis. Rather tired-looking Hull players. Let's have a look again and replay at how that try was scored. Sam Stewart with the play the ball. Shelford flicking a pass up under pressure very, very quickly indeed. Cooper put it back to Wright. Wright just put the ball back along the ground, and Hugh McGann was there capitalising on loose ball. Well done. Shelford. Cooper. Right. Kick through, and it finds the line. So they come back for the scrum. Just inside Hull's half. New Zealand with 3 men, Hull with 4 in their scrum. It's the halfway line. Muggleton getting a pass back nicely. Good play from Hull, but they lost it then. Krieger comes out and runs it back. Running away from the opposition, Marty Krieger. Having an excellent debut with this touring side. McGann. Wright. Good play from Wright. Caught by Dane O'Hara. Stewart. Shelford. McGann. To Bell, to McGann again. Ball going up straight to Devorty. Luluai. More like what Hull needs to do to use the overlap that they've obviously got. Cooper going out there and covering for them, and the second mistake in as many minutes in the same position. Dean Bell showing real determination in running it back, and really all that has come to naught for Hull. They're back where they started. Right. Williams. Putting the pass out. Right again. Mark Bonville. Yes, he's only got to get to the line. Gary Kemble coming across, but Bonville's in. Good try.
Well, that's just reward for New Zealand's efforts in this second half. Down a man, playing with only 10 as opposed to 11. But a marvellous try again, and some cracking running from both McCracken and from Dean Bell, who brought the ball back out after Hull were attacking. And if we look at here, as Williams brought into the tackle, slips the ball out of the tackle, takes it through now, does Owen Wright, passes to Mark Bonville on his right-hand shoulder, who simply streaks away, and the defence, Steve Evans going after him, Kemble coming across, but no chance at all of catching him. He knew where he was going and deposits the ball over the line for an excellent try. And really, New Zealand have played so well this second half. They've really put their game together, and Hull have fallen away by coming up the middle and really been taken apart.
Really surprising, David, in that for the second time in a couple of minutes they had an overlap out on the far side, really with no one to beat, and dropped the ball on both occasions.
That's right, yes, and you have to say well for New Zealand's defence, because they turned defence into attack on both occasions. But it has been rather sad, actually, that Hull haven't had anybody really that's been able to push the ball out wide. James Uri has been rather disappointing in the middle. He's been well wrapped up by Dean Bell.
And Wright's kick hits the post, so the score remains 16-10 in favour of the Kiwis.
And it seems strange that they haven't moved the ball to Dane, because Dane O'Hara has done tremendous sterling work in defence, but really hasn't been given an opportunity to show his prowess on the wing as a speed man. And as a result of it, New Zealand have pretty well wrapped up Hull the second half and have played exceptionally good football.
Restart now for this Hull side, looking just a little dispirited. As well they might be, having been beaten certainly convincingly in this second half by a team with one man shorter than they are. 5 players sent off in this match. New Zealand playing with 10 and Hull playing with 11. Mark Bourneville sporting a blood nose. Shelford. That ball tucked under his arm and still looking around to get the pass away as ever. Cooper. Right. James Luluwai had Wright wrapped up that time with Muggleton. Bell. Elia. Oh, Mark Elia just cutting them apart. Shelford again. Hugh McGann. Shelford. This New Zealand side running rampant. Second try in 3 minutes.
Well, that was a superb move, and that just shows what good backing up can do. And these players are playing using all their skill and experience now, despite the fact they're only down to 10 men, as we keep saying, moving the ball from one to another. And Bourneville yet again on hand to pick it up and dive over the line for his second try of the game. Shelford now being tackled here as he struggles to get up off the floor. Bourneville into acting half, picks it up, streaks away, leaves everybody standing. Only the prop Gerrard tries to tackle him, but had no hope of tackling Bourneville from that short range, and he dives over for his second try.
Mark Bourneville, a rather sizable winger at 6 feet odd and about 16 stone, has impressed a lot of people. Was one of the very first of the Kiwi touring party to impress the English crowds and the English scribes. Owen Wright again with the attempted conversion. He's put that one there. (22-10). And what a turnaround when you consider the way this game was poised at half-time. I think Hull, they really desperately miss Lee Crooks in his side.
They really do. They played without any purpose, without any real thought put into their game at all. They doubled it back inside when the obvious thing to do was to move it on the outside, to use Dane O'Hara and James Luluwai on the outside. They haven't done that. As a result, they played up the middle, being well contained by a good New Zealand tackling, and New Zealand have turned the tables on them completely by showing them how to play football and how to open up defences.
Stewart. Marty Krieger really looking determined. He's had an excellent game. Cooper to Shelford. Shelford flicking that pass back, but they've lost possession as a result. So Hull now getting the crowd behind them with a chance to do something. Muggleton looking at Luluwai, but opts to go back inside and turn the direction around to the other side. Devorty almost stepping away. Sam Stewart just got a hand to his ankle. But Hull with tackles in hand. They must have the overlap. Pass to James Luluwai, going nowhere near him from Evans. And the Kiwis in possession again. Cooper. Oh, what a super player Shane Cooper is. Beautiful balance to Mark Bourneville. Bourneville wrapped up on the wing by Dane O'Hara, but Shane Cooper just showing some of his superb class. Adrian Shelford knocks on, they'll come back for the scrum.
Well, they really are toying about with this Hull side now at the moment, but it just goes to show the frustrations of Hull. When they moved the ball out wide then, Luluwai came on the short ball and Steve Evans literally threw it at him like a cannonball, which bounced away, lost them possession yet again, and gave New Zealand another platform for attack.
Penalty that time against New Zealand front row for striking. Ball out. And Hull still in their own half. O'Hara. Good tackle. Darryl Williams. They're really just giving them nowhere to go, this Kiwi side. The tackling has been superb. They're being wrapped up. They're not being allowed to get the ball away in the tackles, and they're really just making no progress at all. Now, this play started on the first tackle just inside their half, and they're still there. A little chip through. Bell trying to hold it, dives on it. Krieger. See what the Kiwis can do with their tackles by comparison with their possession. Shelford. Shelford, it seemed, was prepared to have a go with one hand. It's all on now. Time for young and old. The line umpire's trying to break it up. Well, if he sent people off before, what's he going to do now?
Well, I believe this is disgraceful, actually, and quite frankly, in that particular instance, it was really Muggleton who came in after the ball, threw a punch at Shelford. There was no need of it at all, and quite frankly, I believe that most of this is now a result of Hull's frustration in not being able to break down this New Zealand defence. Let's just look at it now. Shelford now being held by the first tackler. James Lulai holds him in the tackle. He holds the ball off, doesn't pass it because he was putting the man under pressure, and just held there with the ball. Steve Evans comes in, and now look at Muggleton coming in there, and quite frankly, there's only one action to be done there, and Muggleton, in these circumstances, he should too have walked. Where was the linesman to have voiced his opinion in that situation?
I really find this unbelievable, considering the earlier actions of this referee. Most inconsistent. So the ball put out, and the Kiwis now on their halfway line. Shelford. Unceremoniously dumped in a Christmas hold. Cooper. Nicely picked up by Owen Wright. Mark Elia, in fact. Picked it up off his bootlaces. Cooper to Bell, and Bell straight through the opposition, changing direction, straight past Kemble, and eventually caught. The Kiwi side rampant again. Out on the wing, can he get in? He has. Marty Krieger, first try on the tour, but
superb step that again. Dean Bell really opening up the defence and opening up his legs, taking it right through. And if we can just watch it here, as and when it comes back up, because he really did crack open this defence and gave the opportunity to score the try in the left-hand corner. And just watch it here now. It goes in, kicks the ball out, swings it back inside here to Bell, who comes through.
From this play, the ball with Owen Wright.
Here, Shelford inside, Bell through the middle. Lulai standing, so is the scrum half, Gascoigne, but he goes through, held down here, brought down by two tackles. Gets up, plays the ball quickly. Stewart there again, moves it out wide. A long ball across here now to Krieger. Goes in from Elia. Wonderful pass. There he goes, straight through for that corner. There's nobody's going to stop this fella. He just bounces off and pushes the fella into touch and crashes over for his third try. Well deserved, and New Zealand really have looked good the second half. They played all the football. They've well contained a Hull side that has been bitterly disappointing. Have had no real leader, and as a result have really died on themselves in the second half.
Restart. Krieger again. What a way to start a tour, having just arrived in England on Thursday night. McGann. 26-10 now. Cooper, Elia. Shelford. Sam Stewart again just running through the opposition as if they're not there. Has Shelford with him. Shelford puts it back to Stewart. The defence scrambling around for Hull to try and get around the back of them. 5 tackles on the Kiwis now. The drop goal from Owen Wright, and it's there, the extra point, 27. Owen Wright thinks, why not?
And what a wonderful way to keep the pressure on, because when you're there's nothing worse, I think, as a side when you're losing and you come to the 5th play of the ball and you just pop over the drop goal as Owen Wright did then with no problem at all. And it really has made this Hull side look like selling players in the second half. They've done nothing at all to stem the tide because the New Zealand roll-on of the black has come one after the other. Watch him going through. It really is perfection. He pushes off of people and comes out. Perhaps he held on to a little bit too, or let it go a little too soon there in actual fact, but nonetheless he still comes up and takes it again the second time. And that's what it's all about, commitment and hard work.
This Kiwi side have now seen that the lines of defence at Hull are relatively easy to break in this second half, and they're just going through them at will. Dean Bell from right. Bell puts the pass out to Sam Stewart. Stewart looking for support. Held in the tackle. Comes back to Cooper. McGann. Mark Cornville. Cornville going for the line. Puts it back into Cooper. Cooper, a lovely quick pass to Mark Elia. Elia wrong foots the ball and goes in straight under the posts. Oh, super try. What incredible passing, quick hands, quick thinking, excellent linking, good backing up, good try.
It really is marvellous stuff. And when one thinks that they're down to 10 men, at the turn of half-time, they were 10-6 down, playing 10 against 11. And this is the sort of rugby they've really turned on in the second half. It really has been a joy to watch. And as we can see, a lot of the Hull crowd moving out now already, knowing that their side have no chance at all of even getting back into this game. It really is superb stuff. And here is Bournville again, going outside Dane O'Hara. He's such a strong fella. Dane turns to chase him. But when he's confronted by James Lula, he throws a pass inside again. And there Eli takes it forward, pushes off. Dane O'Hara coming back again, but slips out of the tackle. Sure speed, steps outside him and goes over under the sticks. It really is classical.
Mark Elia, the man who undoubtedly will be a regular member of the New Zealand Test side in years to come. He, of course, has played Test football, was seen by some as a failure in defensive work, but has proved the point on this tour. Owen Wright puts the extra points there, very certainly. 33-10. And there's the full-time hooter. And this Kiwi side can be well pleased with a comeback, really, that has been tremendous. As David Watkins said a few moments ago, they were 10-6 down, and they've played the entire second half with one man short. They've had 10, Hull have had 11, and they have done exceptionally well. They turned the game around, they tackled like demons, they gave Hull no space. Hull seemed to have no leadership. They've missed Lee Crooks desperately. They've had no penetration in the middle, and the Kiwis have combined, albeit only 10 of them, they have combined so well to link up with each other, to support the man carrying the ball, and have really proved a point not only to the crowd here, but to the referee as well, I think.
Yes, they have. They played superb football this afternoon, and after we had all the indiscipline that we had in the first half, some strange decisions, 5 people being evicted from the field of play, coming out in the second half, down to 10 men, 10-6 down, as you said, Tony, and played some sterling football with performances by Daniel Williams, Mark Boneville and Dean Bell in the backs. Mark Ely with that superb try yet again, 2 tries in the game he had, and sterling performances with Sam Stewart, James Golding and Owen Wright. Really good stuff, and this is what the crowd wanted to see, perhaps not in the way in which it was shown, but nonetheless they really have gone and left it indelibly on our minds here this afternoon just how good they can be when they move the ball. Well done, New Zealand, an excellent win.
And for those interested in the statistics, Mark Elia has been the leading try scorer on the tour of Great Britain, with France still to come. He has 8 tries on the tour, and he has been an absolutely outstanding centre. He's had superb games. As I said a little earlier, sometimes criticised for his lack of defence on occasions, but I think he will be back as a stalwart along with Dean Bell, and they will be the future centre combination for this Kiwi side. An excellent win for the Kiwis. The final score, 33-10, and a point proved to 1.